What's going on YouTube? Sergio with Blue Coast Fishing here, and we're not on the water today, so we're not going to be fishing, but since the season for fishing and everything, the boating is getting ready to get amped up, I should expect it about another month or so and it should start really getting good for halibut and then salmon, rockfish, everything. So before I get on the water, I want to make sure my boat, my outboard is running good. So what I'm going to show you guys today is how to change the lower unit gear oil and then the main engine oil as well. So pretty simple, not much to it. And so yeah, so follow me along. I'll show you how exactly to do it, and then hopefully it helps you guys out if you guys need to do the changes for your oil or your lower end unit. It's not too bad. So I'll show you really quick. For the lower unit, I mean, we have your trim, so I'll trim it up real quick, but we want to take this guy, it's just the big Phillips head, and then the flat head right here to drain. So to drain, we just go ahead and take that one out. But so it can drain properly, we have to take this guy up top, just so that it can breathe. So just real quick, take that guy off. Once that guy's off, we know it's going to be able to breathe, and then we go ahead and remove this guy. Take it about halfway and then get it from here. Make sure you have your drain pan ready, that way it doesn't spill, and then it should just drain. And that's about it. We'll leave it to drain for about 10 minutes, make sure it all goes out, and then once it's ready, I'll go ahead and plug it back in and show you how to put the new oil in there. Alright guys, so it's been draining for about 10 minutes. Looks like it's pretty much done, so I'll go ahead and wipe it off with this rag. Make sure that everything is good. Once it's ready, I have this pump or transfer pump that'll get the lube from the bottle into the lower end unit. So we'll go ahead and keep pumping and just wait till up here we get that oil or the gear lube just coming out. We'll let it settle a little bit and then we'll keep pumping. Got about a quarter of the bottle to go. This one had just under a quarter. Oh, there you see it start spurting it out a little bit. We'll let it settle a little bit. Wipe this off. Make sure. Let it settle. Give it another pump. And that's pouring out just what we wanted to see. We know that it's full, so once we know it's full, give that a little wipe, and then get our screw back in. I think this is like a 8mm. Give it one final wipe. Make sure that your gasket is pretty good. This one's good. Sometimes they say to replace it every time. This one looks perfectly fine, so I'm gonna just keep using it. Give it a nice final wipe, and then just tighten it up. Just give it nice and snug. That should be it. One last wipe, and you should be good to go. Now all we have to do is put the final piece here. Always want to make sure that you have your top one before you release this. That way there's no air. And then when you take it off, just put your finger in, plug it, and then quickly put the top on. But if you have this one off and you let it go, because of the air, it'll drain a lot faster. So make sure this plug is in and then go ahead and remove this guy here. But have your other plug ready, which is this guy. It's already nice and clean, so we'll go ahead and have this guy ready. That's it, guys. Pretty easy. I mean, it doesn't take long. The longest part is just letting it drain, making sure that it drains properly, and then this just makes it a lot easier. So if you guys don't have one of these transfer pumps, go ahead and get one. I mean, it's probably like $10, and it just makes it way easier. Pumps in real good. Check your oil. Once it starts leaking out, you're ready to go. And that's it. So that's the gear oil. So I'm going to show you right now how to do the main engine oil. All right, guys. So now for the oil change, all we need is a 12mm socket. If it's Tohatsu or Honda, they're usually the same thing, but this one's a 12mm. And then before we actually drain it, we'll take the cover off. So that's a Tohatsu. Just so you guys know, anything above 60 horsepower, it is a Honda engine. Same thing, everything inside Tohatsu, 60 and above will be in Honda. So once we have that ready and we want to go ahead and take the oil out, we're going to go ahead and look for the cap, which is up here. It's just this yellow one, and this is just so that it can breathe. Once we're draining it, we know that. And that's it, guys. Just take it off. We know it has ventilation, so that way once we take off the drain plug, we know it's gonna drain nice and fast. So just remember, I mean, there's this guy, it's kind of awkward. I don't know, it depends on what motor you have, but I think all outboards are a little awkward once you're draining the oil. So just do your best. I'm just gonna get it nice and close here. Have a rag ready just in case. And then, like I said, 12mm. I'll usually do it by hand here. I don't want to lose the main drain plug. Just let it go. Make sure you catch it. It's right there. Just let it drain. Make sure you have your rag. And we'll just let that drain for about, same thing, 10 more minutes. Wipe this guy off, make sure it's ready, and then once it's nicely drained, we'll go ahead and fill it up again. Okay, guys, so I let it drain. We have the used oil in this container here. Make sure you dispose of it correctly, the way any standards you guys have in your city or your county. Just follow those rules. Make sure you just don't throw it away in the trash can. But it's been draining already for about 5-10 minutes. I'm just giving it a quick cleanup. My drain plug is clean. Make sure your washer is good to go, which is there. Once it's ready, just kind of give it a little wipe, and then all we got to do next is just fill it up with some brand new oil. I go ahead and use genuine Honda Marine oil. This engine calls for 10W30. So I just went and got this on Amazon. It's the cheapest, and I just order it by the case. That way I can just do my oil changes whenever I need to. And then you want it to be in between those two dots. So you'll just start filling it up. Usually takes about 4.5 quarts. And then once you reach to the right amount, then you know you're good to go. So once we have that ready, we know that there's no more oil, we can go ahead and change our filter too. So this guy, same thing, we just twist the opposite way. Make sure you have rags, that way nothing falls there, and then I'll show you that right now. All right, guys, so once we have our rag ready to go, you can try and twist it by hand. This one should be all right. It's usually not too difficult, because you don't want to really tighten these. But if you don't, I mean, you can use a set of pliers. I mean, this is an old one. Once you put it in, you really want to be gentle with it. Usually you just tighten up by hand and give it an extra quarter turn. just in case it doesn't want to go, but usually these are pretty easy. You kind of just twist them, and always make sure you have your rags, that way you don't make a mess. And just kind of twist it. Once you feel like it's about to pull out, just go ahead and kind of tilt it up, and you should be ready to go. This one, since we drained it properly already, doesn't have much oil, but you'll see, if you can see right there, but not much oil. Just kind of wipe that away, make sure it's clean, and you're ready to go. Just leave that there and get yourself another oil filter. Again, I got these on Amazon, genuine Honda parts. For this one, I believe it should say right here, it's the 7S04. So it's a genuine Honda part right there. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and put that in. Take away this plastic film. You get some of your once it's ready to go, get some of your Honda marine oil. Usually I put a little bit in my finger. Once it's on my finger, I go ahead and just put it on the gasket just so it can do a nice seal. So once that's ready, go ahead and make sure you just clean up there, make sure it's nice and clean. Engine's pretty new, so I like to try to keep it that way. Once it's clean, just go ahead, put it in, and just twist it. Once you feel that it's nicely seated and it hits there, usually I check my owner's manual and it says to do about 1/8 to 1/4 turn, and then you should be good. Usually it has instructions on here too. Just says clean, lightly oil the gasket, and then always just hand tight. Once it's there, just put in the new filter. Once it's seated there, give it another about 1/4 turn. And that's about it. We can take off our rag. We know everything's clean. And just like that, we got a new filter. So fairly easy. Really not much to it. Again, if it's a little tight, you can either use some pliers, or they got special gasket removers that you can buy. I mean, usually, they're hand tight, so you can just twist it and it should be good to go, as long as it's not corroded in there. But yeah, pretty easy. New filter. Now all we got to do is put in the Honda 10W30 marine oil, and she should be ready. All right guys, so our final step, we know our drain plug is back in place. So this is the fueling. This is where you refill the oil. Just take it off, and again, always look at your owner's manual. Usually this size engine, about 90 horsepower, takes about 4.5 quarts, depending if you change your oil filter or not. So get a new funnel, make sure it's clean. You don't want anything going in there that doesn't belong in there. So go in there and then just slowly just start putting it in. And again, it'll take about 4.5 quarts. And then you can always, we'll be checking it with the dipstick, making sure that it does have the correct amount there. So that's the first one. I had a little bit left from last time, about half of one, so go ahead and use that one up. Nice golden honey-like color. That's what we want to see. Okay, that's about 2.5 quarts. It should be 3.5 right here. Since we have 3.5 quarts in there, I'll go ahead and double check the dipstick, see how it looks, and then go ahead and correct the amount depending on how it looks. And so we'll check our dipstick. Always clean it. Go in, pull out. And I'm not sure if you can see it since it's brand new. We're about halfway between the two dots. We want to be a little bit higher, so we'll add a little bit more. We got another full container. We'll add about half. See how that looks. Out 4 quarts right now. Might need a little bit more. We'll check it. Wipe the first one. Get the second one in there. You can see it's about right here, so it can use a little bit more. We'll go ahead and put a little bit more in there. Just give it a little bit more. And again, you don't want it to be less than needed, but you also don't want to overfill, because overfilling also causes issues with your engine. So just get it right in between that sweet spot, and you should be good. So I don't know if you can see that, but we're about right there. So I'm liking that. You can use a little bit more, so I'm liking it. I'll add just a little bit more. Why not? Check again one last time. Man, that's pretty close. That's it. That's exactly what we want to see right before the dot. And that's it, guys. Pretty simple, not too bad. Really fairly easy to do it. All you need is, like I said, the 12mm socket and then a flathead screwdriver for that. Other than that, just some rags and then your oil. Other than that, yeah, that's about it. I'll go ahead and finish this up. Make sure I put the cap back on, and she'll be ready for the water. I'll probably end up changing the spark plugs too. I just ordered them actually, so I'm waiting for them in the mail. And then once I get them, I'll show you. These are fairly easy, just one screw, take them out and then put them back in. All right, guys, so thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys, either you can just take a few things and do it the way you like. This is the way I do it. It's not too bad, fairly easy, and it saves you some money from taking it into the shop and getting a full tune-up or getting the oil checked. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully you like this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.